us on Facebook at Daunta A. Long. Follow us on Instagram at Daunta Long. Follow us on YouTube at Daunta A. Long. Thank you for tuning in to LongTalk.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to LongTalk. And we're so grateful to have another opportunity to be with you on this wonderful night. And this LongTalk is a time in which we set aside to have meaningful dialogue, to address today's current issues, and to discuss all things that are relevant in our culture today. And we're just grateful to have another opportunity to come to you wherever you're watching and listening to us. And we invite you at this very moment, if you will, take a moment and connect with us. Do so by going to Facebook or to Instagram or to Twitter. And lastly, if you don't mind, stop by our YouTube page to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Go to any, if not all of these platforms so that you can stay connected to us here at LongTalk. We wish to connect with everyone that we possibly can. So listen, do us a favor and connect with us on this evening. All right. We're so grateful for all that have connected with us in times past and those that continue to connect with us to help us get the word out concerning these LongTalk discussions. Tonight, if you're on Facebook, do us a favor as well. Would you just go ahead and like and share and make sure that you help us get this word out? We've got a wonderful conversation in store for all of you tonight. Our guest tonight is an emerging voice in the culture, a leading voice in leadership. And tonight he has carved out time to talk with us and to have a meaningful long talk. He's one of the city of Atlanta's emerging Pentecostal leaders. He is an author because he has penned several books and scholarly material is out, and he has published several meaningful books. And tonight he's here to discuss one of those. He's also a husband to a beautiful bride here, and he's also a ordained elder inside of the Church of God in Christ. He does civic work. He and I have worked together on initiatives inside of our church to bring political awareness and cultural awareness. And tonight he's taken the time. So LongTalk audience, I want you to help welcome an elder, a musician, an author, just a great guy all around. Friends, tonight he is none other than Dr. Johnathan Lotson. Friends, tonight, welcome Dr. Lotson. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm excellent. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good tonight, man. Pray and trust all is going well for you.
Yes, indeed. All is well.
Man, I am grateful that you've taken the time and carved out a little time. I know you're very busy, but you've taken the time to chat with us tonight, and I'm just grateful for that.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure and honor. Thank you for even the invite and considering me. I don't take that lightly, and I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to our discussion tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dr. Lotson, you are a man who wears many hats and does quite a bit in the community and quite a bit nationally, but I tried to do my very best to introduce you to our LongTalk audience, but if you don't mind, would you take just a few fleeting moments and just let everybody know exactly who Dr. Lotson is in Dr. Lotson's own words?
Sure. Like you stated, my name is Johnathan Lotson, and I reside here in Atlanta with my wife, Shan. And I'm originally from the DC area, went to undergrad in Boston, went to get my Master's of Divinity here in Atlanta, Georgia at the C.H. Mason Seminary. And I decided to stay here in Georgia, and I have been having a great time just serving at my local church and even within my jurisdiction. And I had the awesome privilege to serve my pastor, who's also my bishop, Bishop Joseph Hogan. And I just love to serve and to do all that I can to upbuild and enhance the kingdom of God in any way possible. I was blessed to go to Regent University to get my doctorate in strategic leadership with a focus, concentration, and ecclesial leadership. And I've just using all that I have learned to give it back to God and give it back to God's people in a multifaceted ways. And I love music. I love fellowship. I love family and friends. And I'll stop right there.
Well, yeah, you are just one of many hats. And never forget last year when our paths crossed for the very first time. Well, really the first time you were engaging the people of the Lord at the C.H. Mason 50th banquet celebration, where I first met you. And then our paths crossed again when we were working together with the National Black Church PAC and some of the other organizations that were helping in the recent runoff election here in the state of Georgia. And I must say, you have taken leadership in both capacities and provided wonderful direction for both young and old, how you are just so skillful to navigate and merge the two cultures together. And I think God has graced you to do that. And I'm just grateful to have had these opportunities to share with you. But tonight we are here because you've penned a thrilling, and I mean absolutely thrilling, publication talking about leadership. And so tonight I want you just to talk to us about this whole idea of effective leadership. Talk to us a little bit how this started.
Certainly. Well, this journey of writing this particular book, it derived from my doctoral studies, and the name of the book is Effective Leadership, Top 10 Areas Every Christian Leader Should Consider When Moving Towards Effective Leadership. And I was very intentional with the words moving towards, because it doesn't matter how long a leader has been serving in leadership, it is always a journey, a constant journey to be effective. Because what effective leadership may look like in 1 year or within one span of years, it will look differently, or the way in which it will play out will look differently in the future. And so it's the job of the leader to constantly develop him or herself to be the best leader that they could be. And as I've stated, it is a journey. And as you see on the cover of that book, it is a destination to another destination. And we do not get that end destination until our day is done on this earth. But we're constantly tasked with trying to become better and better, because who we were yesterday, it may be great, it may be fabulous. However, there is room to go a little bit higher.
And so you deem that the effectiveness of leadership is a progressive type.
Yes.
Okay. And for it to be progressive, then really means it's always evolving, right?
It has to evolve, because leadership is all about relationships. It's all about people. And as people naturally evolve, their leaders have to also evolve as time goes on, or they won't be able to serve them effectively. And I wanted to put an emphasis on serve them effectively, because true leaders realize that they are only effective by their ability to serve the need. And so sometimes we feel as if, we're so great and we're wonderful. However, great leaders really understand that you are only great because you're able to fulfill and to help someone else's need. And so I always say God gives us gifts, but the gifts that we have are not for us, but they are for the benefit of others. And so for those that have a gift of leadership, we have to use these gifts and these different skills that God has given us. We have to use them to uplift, to build, and enhance the lives of others, to help them in others in the ministry, the community, or in whatever way that we can. We have to help others. And as I've stated, as people are constantly changing and shifting and evolving, the leader has to be there in front, preferably, and also simultaneously beside them. But they have to be present in such a way that they are giving someone something to follow. And so a man or a woman who is leading, who has no one behind them, is just someone taking a walk. You probably heard of that before. So we have to make sure that we're taking them somewhere, which is impossible to do if the leader, him or herself, fails to evolve.
Yeah. And so I think in tonight's conversation, as we are just focusing around leading in the time of crisis and pandemic, seems like every day something new or something that was in place last week is no longer in place today or has been revised or even modified, right? And
Yep.
so as we are sensing these things that are just happening moment by moment in some cases or day by day in other cases, how critical do you believe it is that we are in the position to really handle all of the effectiveness while things are ever evolving?
Right. When it comes down to trying to manage in the midst of constant change, it's very, very important for leaders to really get to their nucleus, get to their core desire, who God has really called them to be. Of course, things change. However, there are some things within you as a leader, within your organization, your community, that does not change. That is stagnant. That is the pillar, if you will, of who you are. And so,
Sure.
as things are changing, it's very important that a leader begins to get their ground and begin to stand on what they know to be true. Because
Yeah.
in the midst of all of the changes, we have to know for us, for my organization, what is it for us? What is it for me that has to change? Because the truth of the matter is, with all the changes that are going on, it only affects the way in which we do what we do, but not what we do. And so it's important that in these moments in where there's crisis, that we really zero in on the very essence of who we are. We have to zero in on what are we called to do. Because the truth
Yeah.
of the matter is, we get caught up in the crisis and all the changes when we are uncertain of what we are supposed to do. And
Yeah.
so the of this crisis, it is a blessing in disguise, because in this crisis it gives us an opportunity to shed away the things that we really shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
We oftentimes think about, okay, what can I do to be better? What can our organization do to be better? And so on and so forth. However, it is rare that we talk about, what are the things that my organization needs to stop doing? What are the things
Ooh.
that I need to stop doing, because it has nothing to do with my purpose and what we are supposed to be doing? And so, in this crisis, as things are changing, it's the perfect opportunity for you, every single person who's watching. And let me take a sidebar to say that everyone is a leader. It doesn't matter if you are a community activist. It doesn't matter if you're a pastor. It doesn't matter if you are a parent. No matter where you are, you give a certain dose of influence. You have a
Yeah. Yeah.
level of sphere of influence. And because you have influence, you are a leader in your own right. And so I don't want anyone to say, oh, he's not talking about me, because
Yeah.
I am talking about you. I want you to know that wherever you provide leadership, it's now time to discern and to really focus on what
Hmm.
you are supposed to do. It really boils down to your purpose. Who are you? And
Yeah.
why has God placed you here? And once you really refine that, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter what may be going on. You will know that this is the rock, this is the solid ground on which I stand, and I will
Hmm.
use what I do know, that this is my purpose, that this is my call. I will use that as a sense of comfort.
Yeah.
And until this thing passes, I'll just be sitting down, taking notes, and waiting actively to see how I will execute and maneuver in the midst of this storm.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you said earlier. It only changes the way we do it, not exactly what we do.
That's
And
it.
that really leads me to a point that you made in the book when you started talking about the significance of innovation. And a lot
Yes.
of times, a lot of us mistake innovation for totally dismissing what was in place, right?
Right.
Totally eradicating that which we have held on to as a moral fiber. But I want to
Right.
ask you, when it is that we are seeing the need, as you said a moment ago, that we have to evolve, that we have to maneuver, that we have to take the notes, in doing all of these logistical things, how significant is innovation to help us in this time of crisis?
Innovation is imperative, and to be honest, there's really no way around maneuvering in a crisis with the absence of innovation.
Wow.
Innovation is so critical, and of course it's been once stated that there's nothing new under the sun, and that is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And I think people really get innovation all wrong. Innovation is not about creating something new, something that never existed. In its core essence, innovation is really about doing something in a new way, because there's really nothing new. When you think about all the movers and shakers, even look back, even in the day of Henry Ford. Henry Ford didn't create the transportation industry.
Hmm.
However, he did use innovation to completely revamp it in such a way that has been a model for those builders of vehicles on throughout the ages. And
Yeah.
so when we think about innovation, it is all about how can we change the way that we're doing things. And it may involve coupling some things. Okay, we used to do this, but now we're going to use what we did back then, but in a new way. And so we have to use innovation. But what oftentimes prohibits individuals from using innovation or for allowing innovation to take place within their lives and their organization, their businesses, or what have you,
Hmm.
I want to say two major things. One is we don't create the opportunity and the space for innovation. It's the job of the leader to create opportunity and space for innovation. We cannot knock down ideas. We can't just kill it. One thing I love about my leader, my pastor, is even if the answer is no at the end of the day, it's not that I'm going to kill it, but I'm going to at least listen. I'm going to
Mm.
listen, see, okay, could this work? How could this work? And sometimes he'll say, thank you for that. That's good. But maybe not right now. Or how can we tweak this? Or how can we do this or that? And we have to keep that in mind, because once we create space for innovation, then we will grow. Innovation is like a muscle. You have to work the muscle for innovation to effectively work. And so you
Absolutely.
create the space. And creating the space means that, of course, sometimes the first couple of ideas may not be good. They may be horrible, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to kill it, because I'm going to create the space and I'm going to give you the grace so that we can work through this innovation thing together so that we can get to our desired goal. The second thing, the biggest reason why some people do not innovate is because they are afraid to take risks. If you are going to be a change agent, if you're going to do great things, you have to be available and you have to be open for risk.
Yeah.
Everything will work out the way you desired. However, you're going to have to take some risk. You're going to have to jump out there. You can call it risk, you can call it faith, whatever you want to call it in this moment, in this time, you got to do it.
Yeah.
And so when you don't know exactly what's going to become or what's going to happen as a result of your efforts, you have to
Hmm.
realize that if you do nothing, it's 100% chance that you'll go nowhere. But if
Wow.
you do something, you at least have a chance to go a little bit further than where you currently are.
And Lotson, let's be honest, even if sometimes innovation does not happen the way that we want it to happen, I
Yes.
think during the time of crisis, there is grace. Watch this. I think, and see if you agree with this, there is grace for repetition, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if, while everybody's focused on the problem, I've got ample time to cook up or to conjure up whatever solution or solutions that
Yes.
may be necessary for my organization, people, or whatever I'm called to service. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. And one thing I want to tag on to that is in I'm a couple of these together. It's a chapter in my book called Staying Relevant. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that the chase of staying relevant, that it is hindering certain people from being innovative, because sometimes they think that being innovative means that I got to copy such and such. I got to copy
Yeah.
this business, copy this organization, this church or ministry. But the thing is this, staying relevant, where I believe staying relevant is, when it has a strength, is the ability to have relationships. When we think about staying relevant, it is dealing with getting closer to people, building relationships to, again, as I stated earlier, to know what their needs are. You are only relevant if you are meeting the current needs. However, if you are relevant you also are able to use the relationships that you've built to get their input and their thoughts on how you can better assist them. And that is one of the easiest ways to innovate, to see, okay, I built this relationship with them. Okay, they're desiring this. Okay, so because you're desiring this, we're going to use the old way that we used to do this and meet your current need.
Yeah.
And so all of these things, it can help us as we're thinking about being innovative. We have to make sure that, as I also stated a little earlier, that we know what we're called to do, who we're called to be, who we're called to, and just focus on that and constantly perfect that, and not necessarily try to go with the wind, because if you keep going with the wind, you're going to eventually get blown away.
I love that. I love that. Dr. Lotson, man, listen, I want to keep this conversation going. Listen, we got to take a quick break. When we come back from this break, I want to ask you about putting in systems and structures to help us, because while I've just been inundated with so many notes that I was taking while you were talking about innovation, I really was thinking about some things that you mentioned in your book, or one of the main ideas when you were talking about systems and structures. But listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll pick it up from there.
Sounds good.
Hello there. Are you looking for a quality catering company that provides exquisite and classy menu choices, but you need it on your budget? Welcome to Celebrity Catering, where everyone feels like a celebrity. Located in Atlanta, we're one of the topmost catering companies dedicated to providing you with the very best of service, with the focus on dependability, excellent customer service, and uniqueness. Established in 2003 by food artist, owner, and chef Tony Wade, Celebrity Catering has gained a reputation for being one of the most innovative and quality-oriented companies of its kind, and is now the preferred catering service for LeBam Events and Design Studio in Buckhead. We believe that to stand out in a unique way, you need to combine delicious, well-presented food coupled with extraordinary service. Book us today for your next event, or give us a call at 404-210-0887, or fill out our form on our website at www.celebritycateringATL.com. Celebrity Catering, where everyone feels like a celebrity. 2020 Grad Day is not over for our graduates due to COVID-19. Show your school spirit by providing your students, faculty, and staff with memories that will last a lifetime. Introducing the Allmercials Virtual Graduation Package for your graduating class of 2020. Customize this moment of a lifetime presentation to suit your graduating class and school faculty needs. It's simple. Just email us your school website, graduating students, and staff names and photos. Yearbooks, senior photos, cap and gown, student ID, picture day can all be used to create a polished presentation that everyone will love for years to come. This is an absolute unforgettable gift. Nothing can say more than congratulations, class of 2020, you did it. The Allmercials Virtual Graduation Presentation, available now at allmercials.com, or give us a call at 770-276-8626 or 678-629-0675.
Listen, we're back here on LongTalk and just grateful. Listen, that last commercial, we know we're getting ready to enter into graduation season, so you certainly want to take advantage of Allmercials and what they do for graduating classes each year. So reach out and make sure, if you've got a graduating senior, a college senior that's graduating or whatever, and you want to highlight, because many school systems are still scaling back all of the services that they will provide to your graduating senior. So you want to reach out and make sure that you highlight your graduating senior. All right. Listen, we're here tonight with Dr. Johnathan Lotson. We're talking about this wonderful publication that he has, Effective Leadership. And right before the break, you were talking about that innovation piece. And man, I just really was encouraged, because when you were talking about the fact that your leaders may indeed say to you, now is not the time. And I think about even my bishop and my leader, as we were working on an upcoming conference. We laid out a series of sessions and things of that sort. And he said, you know what? This is absolutely phenomenal, but let's push this back to the summer. And while I said, oh my goodness, He said, but listen, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm just telling you to push it back a couple of months. Don't you dare throw that in the garbage. And so with you saying that tonight, that really just made me think, wow, if you've got someone in your organization or your superior or whatever outfit that you're a part of, and they appreciate what you're doing, as you said earlier, then you are now given the grace to really continue to introduce innovation. And before we move on, let me ask you this one last question about innovation. Is there anything that we could call too much innovation? Is that possible that during this crisis, too much innovation?
I think it's only too much if it's not effective. However, I think that the door is wide open. But if it's not effective, then it may just be too much. Or I'm gonna push it just a little further.
Go ahead.
If it's not effective, it may be too little. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes we're a little afraid to take risks. And sometimes we want to be so conservative and want to stay within our box. But if our box is here, but the people we serve are there, it's a mismatch. Mm-hmm. And so I think we have to make sure that we give it all we can and not go back for any reason, because it can be the very thing that changes the trajectory of your business or your organization and the people who you serve.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Dr. Lotson, I know time is getting away from us, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this. Here in the book, where you are really laying out the significance that while you're doing so much innovation, it all has to be done within the framework of a system and a structured setting, right? And again, because when so many people hear innovation, they just think, man, let's just get out here and make something happen. Let's just get out here and turn all the way up. Let's just get out here and make the most noise, right?
Yeah.
But most of us don't like to keep it within the framework of a structure. So talk to us about the significance, or why is it vital, if I may say it that way? Why is it vital that we keep all of our innovation and all of what we're trying to do of being effective during this time of crisis inside of a system and an organized structure?
Gotcha. I want to say that systems and structures are key to going to the next level. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter your industry, your business, or what have you. If you're really going to be effective, you have to have systems and structures in place, or innovation really will not. It will only be seasonal. It will not be a part of the culture of the organization. You need systems and structures because it helps you to move the train forward and to really begin to accomplish some things. Everybody should ask themselves, every leader should ask themselves periodically, if me as the leader and my core staff were to be out of the picture, will the organization continue? Every now and then, that is a critical question that everybody should ask. And if you have systems and structures that are written, that anybody can come in your organization and just begin to fulfill those shoes and get in those shoes and continue to do some things, then you will find out that you have a strong organization. However, if someone cannot come into your organization and take over where you left off, that means that there is no clarity. And if there's no clarity of someone to come behind you, I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10 that there's no clarity now with those inside the organization. And so when we have proper systems and structures, and when we're talking about systems, we're talking about how are things going to get done? What are the steps? What are the processes we're going to take to get from point A to point B, to get this inquiry until its resolution? And what is the structure? Who talks to who? Does your organization have an organizational chart? What is the proper chain of command? Because the thing about this is, if we get these systems and structures together, it will reduce conflict. It will reduce arguments. It will reduce chaos. It will even reduce the unnecessary spending and the budgeting issues that some organizations have, because so many things fall through the cracks when we don't know who to talk to or the process to do one thing or the other. And if your process constantly changes because of the initiative or because of the thing that you're constantly working on, it is an indicator. That is an indicator that you need to make some adjustments, because your system should be the same no matter if I'm doing it, no matter if Reverend Long is doing it, no matter if Dr. Seuss is doing it. It is the system, because this is your organization. You have to understand that, yes, organizations are ran by people, but the organization should be strong enough that even if the people change and shift, then we will be able to continue. One of my thoughts, and one of the things that's really a burden on my heart, is as everybody knows, we have lost so many leaders due to this virus.
Yeah.
I'm concerned, because I really pray that systems and structures were in place, that the organization, the ministry, the business, that it can continue even at the demise of a leader.
Yeah. And so many of us who are just looking for that next platform, how detrimental it is. Oh, I just want to be the next CEO. Oh, I just want to be the next leader. I can't wait till my daddy retires and moves so I can lead this family business. Or I can't wait till my pastor dies or retires or is emeritized so I can be the next pastor. Or I want to be the next bishop or overseer, whatever the case may be. And you finally get it, and you don't know what to do with it, right? None of it makes sense. And then you're just sitting there, as the old folks say, with egg on your face, right? With a blank stare, like, what are we to do? And then you try to introduce innovation, again, not changing, it's just changing the way we do it, but you can't change the way if you don't, as you said earlier, know the way, right?
Right. You at least have to have at least a basic understanding of how things function in order to change. So it all ties together. It all ties together.
Oh, Lotson, we really could. Many times in my sermonic presentation, I talk about putting a quarter in the meter or a dollar in the meter. Man, I just got to drop a dime right there. How many times have we seen the succession, the unintended, let me say it like this, the unintended succession take place?
Yeah.
And then the utter demise to follow.
Yeah. It's something else. It's something else. And that's one of the things I also talk in my book about is succession. Because succession planning, it is so essential. It's been once stated that the last gift a leader can give to those who he leads or she leads is a succession plan. Have that to help an organization to continue on. It's no surprise that at the demise of a leader, or even if a leader retires or whatever the case may be, it plays a toll on those who are left behind. Most organizations led by African Americans, or even all ethnicities really, when it comes to business, is they've been in leadership for a long time. And even when you think about the Black church in particular, I want to say that, we have pastors who serve for years upon years and years. So if there is a change in leadership, that is not a small thing. It is a big deal. And all people need the assistance of some type of structure and plan, preferably when the person is yet alive and yet in the fabric and the make of the organization, to make that transition a lot easier.
Had one comment that just came in that said that succession is a direct link to legacy. Succession is a direct link to legacy, right?
That's good.
I'm just amazed, because then you'll hear somebody say, what took Lotson 30 years to build. Man, his nephew came in and destroyed it in 6 months, right? You saved up all this money, possess all this land, and if you did not show your son, your nephew, or whomever the successor, because we don't always want to paint a picture that we are just only caring about just our family, right? We're not here to in any way try to promote just family dynamic, but whomever you choose or whomever is in place. And you look at the case of If you go biblical, you look at when David was given to be the king of Israel. The minute he killed Goliath, he didn't, even though he was king, he didn't stop doing what he was doing until many more years of preparation and time enough to see how the whole country is being ran and who is the opposition, who are my allies, where is the place of prosperity, where is the place that I should not go, and all of those things. And Dr. Lotson, I just think that in effective leadership now in this time of crisis, we really have to know that the system is most vital, because if we don't, as I said some time ago, if we don't trust the process, then is it possible that we could do more damage than we can be effective?
Yeah, it's definitely very much so it's possible. And I think we have to just be mindful of our journey, and we have to be mindful that we position ourselves, and systems and structures are the perfect tool, that we position ourselves that things can go on. It's another statement, as she made that one statement, it's another statement that says there's no true success without succession. And so we have to make sure that even in your family, we have to talk about, hey, these are the things, these are the pillars within the family. And this is what it's going to take to sustain it, and even began to talk about how we can go to the next level. And what I'm looking forward to seeing in the future, in all respects of leadership, no matter where we may lead, is that there's a period of mentorship that takes place prior to a leader completely leaving the scene. And I believe that is going to help us to be truly, truly effective.
Boy, I pray that day is not far off, right? Because I think that, while we remain in this, so many of us are trying to rush out of it. But as you said earlier, we've lost a lot of leaders, particularly in the Black church, particularly in our denomination, where we've seen a record number of deaths, unlike, I believe, in any time of its over 1 century of history, right?
Yeah, this is first time ever.
First time we've ever seen so much. And that, that's enough just to take in by itself. But what are we doing now? And this is not a critique, but, as you said, we're looking forward toward the day. And we really just want to see, in this time of crisis, how can we be more effective? And brings me to my last point of trying to understand that which is effective. And here I have it now. You talk about proper placement.
Yes.
Proper placement. And I want to ask you to sort of unpack that whole idea as you do in the book. I don't want to give out all the secrets of the book, because I want somebody to go to JonathanLotson.com and pick up this book. But I want to talk to you just quickly, because you talk a little bit about this, and you stress the emphasis on the need for proper placement. Talk to us about that, if you will.
Proper placement is critical. And I want to just break it down in two components, or two boxes, if you will. Box number one, it's imperative that we have the right people in the organization. We have to make sure that we have the right people in the organization, in the business, or what have you. Because the truth be told, there are certain people in our organization, in our business, that have no business being there. We have to be honest. We have to be open. We have to be vulnerable. We have to even, because it goes both ways. Not only is it the job of the leader to say, hey, listen, you are not the perfect fit. However, it is going to take those who are serving in under leadership or serving with leadership to say, listen, I don't think I'm in the right place. And anytime an individual or the leader, anytime they continue to go on as if nothing is happening, they are doing themselves a disservice and their organization a disservice. Because anytime you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, that means you're not at the right place in your right time.
Yeah.
And when you think about placement, I mean, we have to be those who are faith believers and followers of Christ who are watching. It's a song that says the safest place in the whole wide world is in the will of God.
Yeah.
And if you are in the wrong place, in the wrong organization, in the wrong business, in the wrong department, you are outside of God's will. Absolutely. And you have to question, how safe am I? And so that's box A. Box 2 is sometimes we have the right people in the right organization. It is your calling. You know God sent you there. This is where I'm supposed to grow. This is where I'm supposed to flourish. This is where I'm supposed to be planted. However, the problem is sometimes that even if you're planted or you're in the right organization, you may be doing the wrong thing. You may have the wrong job. You may have the wrong position. You may be sitting in the wrong seat. And so it's important that not only are you sure about where you are, but you have to be sure about what you are doing where you are. And so those two things, box number 1, again, am I really in the right place? And if I'm not, I need to leave and move on so that I can be where I can truly flourish. In box 2, we have to make sure that not only am I in the right place, but that I am in the right seat, or I am in the right position, the right auxiliary, the right department, the right ministry, whatever the case may be. I'm serving where I'm supposed to serve. Because we also do ourselves a disservice when we are in the right place, but in the wrong seat. How horrible is it for you to be a finance expert and you are awesome and you are brilliant when it comes down to numbers, but instead of doing anything that comes to budgeting or finances, you are serving with children or youth or school. I mean, you have to be in the right place, because when everybody is in the right organization and serving in the correct position, then things can really, really begin to take off.
Yeah. And so with that being said, there are several business owners that are watching us tonight. There are several faith leaders that are watching us that are saying, Dr. Lotson, I really need to just hear a little bit more. You've captivated me with understanding innovation. You've captivated me with understanding that I need to organize and administrate this in a greater capacity. And I got to be honest, Dr. Lotson, my son just ain't cutting it. My nephew, my neighbor, who I've had a good relationship, they're just not cutting it. What must I do? What do you want to tell our audience tonight, of everyone that's watching, that can really help us get to the place where we can become more effective and produce more effective leadership?
Gotcha. I want you to just think about 10 years down the road. That's the biggest thing. I want you to begin to think about 10 years down the road. Your decision that you make today, it affects your future. And so if you are not bold enough and strong enough and courageous enough, if you will, to make the necessary changes now, you have to realize that you will pay for it in the future. Not only you, but the person who is in the wrong seat or in the wrong position. And the thing about it is, you don't have to leave them high and dry. You don't have to just say you're on your own. But what you could do is begin to walk with them, to coach them, to just be with them and to help them find their right place. And it may be within your organization. It may not be. But you have to take the initiative and do what you need to do to make sure that you help them find where they need to be. Because it is imperative for all leaders to not only know their purpose and to walk in their purpose, but it's the job of every effective leader to help those who they serve, those who come in their path. It's their job to assist them in identifying and fulfilling their purpose as well.
Dr. Lotson, thank you so very much for sharing with us tonight and talking to us. Friends, I'm floored that tonight you've just laid it out for us. Talk to us real quickly. How can someone pick up this book?
Sure. You can grab this book any and everywhere that you purchase books. You can go on Amazon. You can go on Barnes and Nobles. You can go and get it from your Apple store, your Kindle. You go to my website, JonathanLotson.com. Those are several ways in which you can grab that book.
Oh, my goodness. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Lotson. We're encouraging everybody to go and pick up a copy of Effective Leadership, because I believe it is something that will really be a blessing to your organization or to you as a leader. Dr. Lotson, quickly, how can people connect with you?
They can follow me on all social media at Dr. Johnathan Lotson. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, at Dr. Johnathan Lotson.
Wonderful, wonderful. Dr. Lotson, thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time to carve out a few minutes, talk to our LongTalk audience, and just be a blessing.
Yes, indeed.
All right, friend, you take care.
You too now. Thanks again.
God bless.
Peace and blessings.
Friends, again, tonight on this LongTalk, I'm grateful that you've taken the time to tune in and to listen. We have just been endowed with leadership principles, and to hear Dr. Lotson talk to us and to just have Dr. Lotson share with us has just been a great blessing. So thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. If you have not already done so, just connect with us. Connect with us here on LongTalk. Make sure you connect with us by going to whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube. Just go to Daunta Long. Connect with us here on LongTalk, and we greatly appreciate it. Well, listen, until our next time, listen, please make sure that you pick up a copy of this book, but make sure you understand the significance and the vitalness, the high importance that I'm talking to you, business owner. Yeah, you got 10 employees, you have 50 employees, or it's just you by yourself. You got to understand, you've got to have a system and a structure. You are a person that's really had all of your eggs in one basket, just believing that this person was going to be the right person for the job, and chances are they're not. As Dr. Lotson said a few minutes ago, you don't have to just leave them high and dry, but you need to be able to get the right people into the right place, and then reassign others to other tasks, or perhaps point them into the area that may best serve them, so that you don't just fulfill only your wish and your desire and get your need met, but that you can help properly place somebody where they need to go. All right? Again, thank you so much. Join us next time for another LongTalk. I'm excited as we continue to bring meaningful content to you that watch, and we thank each of you for your time and appreciate you, and we'll see you next time here on LongTalk. God bless.
Follow us on Facebook at Daunta Long. Follow us on Instagram at Daunta Long. Follow us on YouTube at Daunta Long. Thank you for tuning in to LongTalk.